time I close my eyes.
Okay, so how do I explain this without sounding stupid? Without sounding insane? Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie is like the Avengers and then Avengers Infinity War. I sound stupid, don't I? Okay, I just came out of watching FNAF 2. Came out of it watching it this Sunday. I would have liked to have seen it with a certain friend group, and then my certain friend group wasn't able to see it this week.
Two! Was that the bite of 87?
Decided to go see it with a different friend who doesn't care for the series. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 follows from the first Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Back in October 31st, 2023, the first FNAF movie came out. I thought the first movie was ass. Josh Hartnett just sucks. He's like the most bland character ever. The whole thing with like him in Dreams was just really boring. I didn't like Abby. Abby sucked. Vanessa was weird. She was just weird. And like the characters, the FNAF characters, they build forts. No, I'm not kidding. They build forts. They build forts and then they sit down and have a nice time. And then, yeah, like stuff happens. Based on critic reviews, the critics didn't like it.
So, anyways, talking about my non-spoiler review. So, trying to understand, like, the critics score from, the fan score, and, like, looking at these reviews, again, if you're going to look at Rotten Tomatoes as a source for figuring out if a movie's good or not, that's not a great way to do it. I would say these sources are a lot better.
Yeah. Wait, what?
The main problem that the critics have with this movie is the writing and what they're trying to do with this movie. Again, this is a movie made for the fans, and for a lot of this movie, it is catered towards the fans in a way that they understand what's going on because of the timeline.
So that's it, huh? I'm gonna lose the franchise, aren't I?
You aced it.
Really?
Yeah, you guys made me laugh. That was awesome.
Wow, so my movie is perfectly good?
Fuck no, it's the worst movie I've ever seen in my life, and you failed miserably. But when he held that doll and he went, no, that was some funny shit.
And so the critics who are watching this as a casual movie, and they're not going to understand what's going on. So for them, they feel like, yeah, like this movie's bad, like a lot of the logic doesn't make any sense, and like, how does this connect to this? How does that connect to that? Like, how does this make sense? How does that make sense? Again, like, Scott Cawthon's story, like, has flaws and issues, but that's why the FNAF fans like it. Like, most of the fans were trying to make sense of whatever the story was, and to be honest, Scott was just throwing everything in. And I guess I could see when I was looking at, like, some reviews, some people like believe that like Scott had a lot of control with this movie, so a lot of it is Scott just trying to fit like his entire story from the games into this movie, however much weight that he can. And that's going to work with the FNAF fans. And I mean, it worked with me because I was familiar with the lore. Again, like I'm not a big fan or anything, but I was familiar with the lore enough to be like, oh, they're trying to do this, they're trying to do that, they're trying to introduce this and that. And yeah, I didn't hate it for the most part. Like, that's the thing I like about this movie is it does improve from the first, from feeling like an actual FNAF movie. Like, the FNAF 1 movie barely feels like a FNAF movie in the way that, like the movie just looks cheap. It's not trying to do anything from the games. When you're in the office, you don't even have like a scene where they like do it like the games where they close the doors and like look at the cameras. They don't do a lot of that. The animatronics like don't really feel like they're actually trying to be like the animatronics. And that's where I will say this movie really improves. It actually makes the animatronics do the animatronic things that you're familiar with them doing in the games. They're actually trying to kill. You have a scene that actually does the FNAF 2 gameplay, which I'm going to give it that. That scene was pretty good. But if you're a critic, I can understand why this movie doesn't work for you. And for people that are watching this who don't know anything about FNAF, going into this knowing nothing about this movie.
Okay. In general, this movie is a fan service movie, and that is the main criticisms that critics are having, and FNAF fans are feeling like, well, that's the point. That's what we want. We wanted this. We wanted the actual story being adapted into this screenplay. This is what they wanted. Talking about fan service in movies is very hard to do because you have fans that are going to eat these things up and they're going to enjoy this, that this feels like it was made for them, that they feel seen, that they feel like the writers and the people creating movies felt for them. They wanted this. They wanted to give the fans exactly what they wanted, and that's why for them it's so good. But then, yeah, sometimes fan service can be a bit too much and hinders from actual storytelling when the whole thing is just meant to favor towards you than favor towards a real story. The thing is, this is a movie that is hard to do because if the creative decision was to do their own thing, they would have done their own thing. But they clearly understand how much this franchise is big online and how much it's big towards teens and kids and fans alike. They want to give them the whole timeline thing. They want to give them everything that they want so that they could make a lot of money off of this. And like they are. So I guess giving Scott Cawthon the full control to just do his whole story in this movie is exactly what they're going to do. Is it good? It's not the best, but I can respect that they tried to do it. I didn't hate it. I kind of found this movie kind of goofy fun. It is fun, at least. It was more fun than the first movie. Like, I actually had fun with this. Obviously, yes, the animatronics look good in this movie. They're Jim Henson. They're made. They're actual robots. They look really good. I will say the voice acting for the robots were really good, too. I like what they did there. Again, the casting for the characters, at least that specific character, if you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about, was actually good. But yeah, like, in terms of writing, it's not the best. Like, sometimes it's even worse than the first. Like, sometimes it feels very awkward. Like, some decisions that the characters make are kind of iffy. I could say that. The ending is, yeah. I mean, you read the title of this video. It is literally that. Oh my god. It kind of made me laugh. And, like, my friend was like, yeah, this shit's still ass. And I'm like, nah, but this movie's like the Avengers. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's like that. And, like, Infinity War. Like, you get what I'm saying? And he's just like, yeah, it was still ass. It's like, yeah, you can't really win with him. I think it was better. It was a bit of an improvement from the first. I still don't think it's a great movie, but I say in terms of a FNAF movie, it's better than the first movie. Way better than the first movie. Even though there is a lot of issues, logical issues, you could say. But again, they actually tried to do the actual FNAF story, and I'll give them props to them actually doing it. I think that was actually cool that they tried to do it. And yeah, that's my thoughts in general. I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was great. I don't really have like a rating for it. Maybe like a 2.5 stars out of like 5 stars. I mean, that's what I rated on my letterbox. Follow me there, by the way. And yeah, har 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 har. See you later.